Yay Networks.
People are going to be like, this is extremely inappropriate to laugh
this
about.
is the top tier morbid kind of level of our humor.
Some people are going to be offended.
Welcome back.
Welcome
to episode 32
of
Junkyard Mayhem.
You're on it today.
As we create more and more of these, we are losing, apparently, our ability to maintain a level of professionalism.
What?
I am unshaven. Hannah is in sweatpants.
Yeah.
I'm always in sweatpants, but Hannah has now been reduced to sweatpants.
I know. I didn't think to get dressed. I showed up here in my pajamas,
You
essentially.
showed up. That's what you don't live here.
I showed up in this room at the correct time.
I arrived in the office.
Yep. I arrived and across the hall from our bedroom, and you shouldn't have told me that we're recording in the morning. I would probably be dressed if it wasn't 10 a.m. right now.
Well, you look good, even for sweatpants.
Thank you.
I don't know if the same can be said about my mustache and
It
beard.
needs to be shaved.
I will say, now that I'm up there in age, 31, I am not getting hearted when I order alcohol nearly as much as I used to.
True. The last 3 years, you must have matured in some way.
I think it's my facial hair that I have more often now.
Maybe some forehead wrinkles.
Maybe it's the wrinkles.
You don't have a lot of wrinkles, though, so.
Maybe it's just the general air of wisdom that I give off.
It might be the glasses, too.
It could be the glasses. It's more the air of wisdom. Okay. Like, when you look at me, you see experience.
Yeah.
Life experience.
Definitely.
Knowledge. Passion.
Are you done? Can we move on to the podcast now?
Yes, what are we doing today? I'm rambling because I don't know what we're doing today.
It only took you 1 week to bring up your new age after your birthday. I've been waiting for it. Every year you love to claim your new age again and again.
I just want everyone to know that I'm a little bit older than I used to be.
Yeah, and now you're 31.
I'm even older than I was yesterday.
Okay.
Can you, it's happening.
All right. Well, we're going to move on now. In today's episode, we are going to tell you about 2 disability community / accessibility improvements in the world.
Exciting news.
Really, really exciting ones. Yeah.
Then we're going to be getting to know Hannah and I a little better, as if you don't already know us too well. We're going to be playing a little relationship game where, well, we'll just let you figure out what we're doing.
Okay.
It's spicy.
It's a game Shane found.
It's a spicy little game. And then at the end, we're playing another game. None of these are games. These are all conversations.
Yeah.
But for, make it more fun, we'll call it a game. At the end, we're playing another fun game called Am I the Asshole?
Yeah, we like that
one. That always stirs up a little controversy in the comments and between Hannah and I. First up. Good news.
Good news.
Lay it on me.
So first up, the first piece of good news, something that we are really, really, really excited about. This would be so huge in our lives.
This one is low-key one of the most exciting accessibility developments in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Or a harbinger for one of the biggest.
Yeah. We're hoping that it's not like a 40-year process to get this to the finish line.
Which,
it might be.
Judging by our history, it will be.
But many of you have probably seen the video going around of the new Delta Flight Products wheelchair accessible airline seat.
That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful of a product.
I know. It's a seat that they're developing. Delta Flight Products, I'm just looking this up, is a subsidiary of Delta Airlines, and they are working together with a consortium called Air for All to design this removable seat. So it's a regular seat for most flights, and then when there's someone that wants to stay in their wheelchair, that seat comes out. And
it folds into itself, kind of.
I think parts of it remove, and parts of it, there's a video of it that you can see, and then the wheelchair can just pull in there and get strapped down. So really, really, really huge.
Yeah, and this definitely does not mean that they're about to start allowing wheelchairs on airplanes anytime soon. Yeah. But to have a company with as much legitimacy as Delta
Yeah.
and as much power in that industry. Make a prototype, show the world like we
This
made
is
it work,
possible,
we can do
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Now it's more a regulation thing, like,
Yeah.
and they've said, Delta has said, there's a lot more testing that needs to be done with this prototype, but they have an actual, group of people working on it, and that kind of attention is huge.
Yeah.
Like, there's videos of this prototype going around the internet right now. Thank you to all 900 million of you that have messaged it to me. I've seen it. Thank you. And it's the first time I've seen that, like, the general public is really focused on
Yeah.
this particular issue.
Like this has gone viral
And it's
beyond
viral.
just the disability community. Yeah.
My people are viral.
Okay.
But this really would change everything about how we move around,
Yeah.
I'm
looking to see if there's anything about
Hannah's just reading
like
over
the
here.
timeline. Yeah, I am. I'm listening to you though. But it says the prototype, which was recently displayed at the Aircraft Interiors Expo in Hamburg.
Why were we not invited?
I was about to say, why weren't we there?
I love Hamburg.
Oh, of course you do. Isn't likely to be fully certified for another 18 months or so, and no airline has been confirmed as a first partner, despite being a Delta subsidiary. Delta Flight Products is an independent company that works with various airlines. So actually, it isn't Delta.
So Delta's like, we are not involved.
Yep. So before that happens, the team needs to obtain a certification. So that'll be in like 18 months or so. After that, the product will be available to any airline that wants it. It's not meant to be for one airline. It's trying to promote something that makes accessibility onto an aircraft the norm.
But 18 months,
That's
mean,
not bad.
I
thought 40 years.
I was thinking 40 years. And I don't know, like, once this becomes certified,
Yeah.
does that mean that, like, it's good to go? Or does then the FAA need to, like, make new rules about...
It sounds like then it would be good to go. But I think the problem will be, like, actually, physically changing the planes.
Airplanes or airlines.
But it sounds like it's redesigning the first two rows of the plane, and I don't think they need to, like, build new planes to do that.
You shouldn't. You just take a row of seats out, right?
Well, you just swap. Yeah, you change
You swap them.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So maybe it won't be as big. Because everyone has said, like, they use planes for a very long time, and they're not, like, buying new planes every year. So that was the worry is, like, if you need a new plane for this, it's going to be 20 years before they're building new planes.
But this would be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have seen in our videos how difficult and frustrating and dehumanizing it can be to get me onto an airplane safely, comfortably.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
And we have to fly, like, for business. And we want to fly because we love traveling.
Yeah.
And so often we choose not to because of all the difficulty and the unfair practices that keep it from being
We must have
smooth.
turned down like 4, speaking engagements this year that would have been flights because it's just not worth the hassle.
We calculated the cost benefit.
Yeah.
And getting on an airplane really makes it difficult. So,
Yeah, it's got to be really important.
but can you imagine if, like, this happens and we're able to just, like,
I know.
bump over to Pennsylvania easily and not spend 18 hours driving there?
I know. I really hope that it happens.
People that don't know that my family lives in Pennsylvania are like, wait, why did they want to get in Pennsylvania?
I love to see the Liberty Bell every year. Okay.
So that is good news. Item number 1. What is good news number 2?
Good news number 2 is a little bit more focused on us. And
The last one felt pretty
no, that
focused
was
on us.
for the whole world. This is about a Minnesota law.
Oh, okay. Is it that they've legalized marijuana?
No, it's actually not that at all.
Well, that is also good news.
That is also something that has recently happened. However, no. This is that adult changing tables are now Minnesota law in all new public restrooms.
Boom, 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 boom.
Whoa.
Hannah, why are adult size changing tables important? Not just for me, but for others.
Yes, because a lot of people need to use them, and they're extremely difficult to find. Let me read you a little excerpt, Shane.
All right. Did you find it on your phone over there?
Yeah, I have a freaking article. All right.
I was hoping that all this knowledge was just in your head. I didn't know you'd have to use outside sources.
I do want to say that there are a couple of people behind this law that like really made it happen. So one of them is Linda Hood, a marathoner who lost the use of her legs from a virus, and she became Miss Wheelchair Minnesota in early 2022, and she declared it her mission to get adult changing tables in public restrooms.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, so she joined forces with Sarah St. Louis, who was struggling to change her son Ezra, who has a traumatic brain injury and was too big for infant tables. So that's why it's important, Shane. A lot of people need to use them
Thank you, Sarah.
for various purposes. So they took on the task of trying to change this law. They did it. I mean, it's a long article, but long story short, this past week they signed that bill.
Which is really useful. Again, every time we go out in public, I pretty much go with the assumption that I will not be using the bathroom until we get back to our house.
I can't remember the last time you used the bathroom out of the house.
And think about, what that would do for you.
Yeah.
Like that would really limit the plans that you are able to make comfortably. I can hold it all day. It's not comfortable to do that though.
Yeah.
So if we're leaving the house at 3 p.m., we kind of have to factor in like, I'm going to have to pee by 7, 8, 9, especially if we're doing something that involves food and drink.
Yeah.
And so, having more places that I can use the bathroom comfortably and without being humiliated by Hannah having to lay me on the dirty bathroom floor, it's going to be big.
Yep.
Super big for my bladder.
Yeah, and lots of people's bladders.
So that's great. Love accessibility.
I love how disingenuous that sounded.
It did.
That's great.
It didn't. No, I was trying to aim for a wrap up here.
Yeah, I know. That's all good.
Well, the
Anyway.
accessibility. there's some of it.
All right, so now we're going to take a break, and then we will be back to, I don't remember what the next segment is.
Dig into each other's souls.
Oh, yes. Play our game, our relationship game. So you've been stewing about a health problem you have, and you almost resort to texting your group chat to get your friends' opinions.
So like Hannah will text her friends like, hey, look at this bump that I've developed. This just looks sebaceous to you. And you're not going to get good medical info from that group chat.
But you can find it from a doctor on ZocDoc. Thousands of medical professionals on ZocDoc are there to help you. They listen like a friend and give you the expert care you need.
Ma'am, that bump needs to be removed 3 years ago.
I don't have a bump, Shane. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun.
Okay, maybe not the bump, but definitely the dirty toe.
No more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With ZocDoc, you have a trusted guide to connect you to your favorite doctor you haven't met yet. Millions of people use ZocDoc's free app to find and book a doctor in their neighborhood who is patient-reviewed and fits their needs and schedule just right.
This is really helpful for us. Hannah flies through doctors with all of her ailments.
Go to ZocDoc.com/junkyard and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/junkyard, ZocDoc.com/junkyard. All right, we're back. And this first question, Shane, we're coming out of the gates fast.
I don't even know what game we're playing. I've forgotten.
We are playing a relationship, like get to know. I don't know. You told me about this.
I remember it now. It's a who is more likely game. So we're going to hear a variety of prompts, and then Hannah and I have to say which of us is more likely to do those things.
Yeah, this is fun. We're going
We'll
to try to do it fast. There's a lot of questions.
We'll see if we agree or disagree and share any important context
I wonder if we'll get into a
along the
fight.
way. I hope not.
I don't think we will. Okay. First question. Who is most likely to live the longest?
Oh, jeez.
Well, I will say, statistically, women live longer than men. And
statistically.
and I would go with the one who has more like lung function.
I would go with the one that does not have a severe muscle wasting disease.
People are going to be like, this is extremely
This
inappropriate
is
to laugh
this
about.
is the top tier morbid kind of
Yeah.
level of our humor.
Some people are going to be offended.
I fully expect to live a complete life. However, for the sake of this question, I think that anyone that understands betting or odds should go with Hannah. She is the correct choice there.
Jeez. Okay, moving on. What? Who was most likely to accidentally send a nude to their mom? Shane.
I didn't make these up. I just picked the list.
What the heck?
Who is more likely?
I don't like the first two questions.
Okay, well, it's probably me. And I'm only saying that because, like, I am the kind of person that mindlessly uses my phone. You know what I mean? Like, not that I have nudes on my phone.
I know, but
I'm just saying, like, I'm like, oh,
Have
send
you-
a picture of this flower to my mom. Oh, I hit the wrong photo. You know what I mean? Like, I do that more than you do that.
I can see that. I will say though, I have texted people like
The wrong
thinking
thing. Yeah.
that I'm texting someone else. That has happened to me multiple times. So
One time, my brother and I were having a text conversation about our parents. Like, we were mad. We were
Yeah.
teenagers. We were mad at them for some reason. And Andrew accidentally sent one of the texts to my
oh
parents.
my god.
And he was in our basement, and he sprinted upstairs and was like, "Don't look at that." And I don't think they saw it. I think he got to the phones before
Yeah.
anything came out, but sorry, Mom and Dad.
That's funny. Who was most likely to forget to text back? That's you.
Is it me?
That's you.
We're both bad at that.
That's you, Shane.
We're both
That's
bad texters.
You're
It might
worse.
be me. Okay,
You're
fine.
worse.
You don't have to make it like a condemnation.
I just can't believe that was a discussion. I think you're way worse than me about forgetting to text people back.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yep, that's
Yeah.
fair.
I'm bad too. I am bad
Thank
too.
you. As long as you acknowledge it.
Who's most likely to say something awkward to the other's parents? You. Because I don't speak as much as you do.
That makes sense.
I choose my words very carefully, especially if
do.
I'm talking to your parents. I would not say something.
But more often than me, you after a interaction, you say, "Was that awkward? Was
Yeah.
that weird?"
But I think it's not it. Like you've gotten a little tipsy and said like inappropriate things.
That's different.
More likely to say something awkward to my parents.
Okay, fair.
Just saying.
I don't like this game. This is it's turning out to make me look bad all around.
Who's most likely to have a sarcastic comeback?
Probably me.
Yeah,
But we're both
probably you.
very sarcastic.
I know.
But yeah, I think you. No, it might be you. Not sarcastic. You're more contrarian.
Oh
Which
my
is different.
God. So sarcastic. So it's you.
The first four put me down. I have to put
This
you down a
didn't
little
say
bit.
contrarian. This said sarcastic. Who's most likely to accidentally start a fire in the house?
That would be 100% Hannah.
Because I'm physically
Because
cooking?
you put the megabytes in, wandered away, and began doing something else. Forgot about the megabytes.
Yeah.
Your loving,
You would
thoughtful,
never start a fire.
responsible husband, 28 minutes later, says, "Hey, I think your megabytes are."
No, you don't go. You don't wait 28 minutes. You always get my bagel bites out on time.
This is a very specific real life example for you.
This is real. Who's most likely to say "I love you" first? Me.
Yeah.
Who's most likely to fall asleep during a movie?
Doesn't mean I don't say I love you.
Oh my God.
I say it all the time.
Look at you,
Just
still,
need to clarify.
still thinking about it.
We
I
moved
say
on
it
really
first.
easily.
I
And
say it first most days.
it should have sounded like,
If you're offended, maybe you should say it first more often.
"I love you."
I love you too. Who's most likely to fall asleep during a movie?
Hannah, 1000%.
I've never fallen asleep during a movie.
Well, I'm kind of thinking of like you get bored.
Or I want to go to bed.
Yeah, like you get sleepy. You don't fall asleep, but you're like, oh,
You
don't
do
want.
too.
I'm like,
You often
We're
are like,
saying
let's go to bed.
who's more?
Okay.
I don't
think
fall asleep.
neither of us fall asleep during movies, but I guess it would be me because like you wouldn't.
You like go on your phone.
Yeah.
It infuriates me.
Who's most likely to fall in love first?
Oh,
Kind of a weird one. Like with someone else or with each other?
we were pretty the
I
same
know.
for our falling in love, and I have not fallen in love since. So.
Well, me
Tough to
either.
know.
Me
Yeah,
either.
there we go.
So
So both of
both
us.
of us equally likely. Who's most likely to forget your anniversary?
Ooh. I keep a calendar, so like
Yeah.
I don't have our anniversary on there.
I know, but dates are more important to me, but neither of us is wildly enthusiastic about like an anniversary.
Anniversaries have never been big to us.
Yeah. So
It's because we have too many of them.
I know.
We
So
have
there's no
like
one special
weird
date.
dates. Yeah.
They all feel kind of like sub dates.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's most likely to sleep in on Sundays?
You all know. You know this, right? It's Hannah.
Me.
10,000,000%.
Who's most likely to make a playlist for the other? You.
Yeah, it's me.
Who's most likely to get lost while using GPS? That's rude. I can follow GPS, but I guess me, because you wouldn't.
Although you often, because I'm always a navigator, so like by default, I am the one.
Yeah,
That
but if I'm
accidentally-
driving alone,
Yeah.
I
True.
do sometimes drive alone. So probably me.
We've
I
had
just
so
don't-
many moments where the GPS like doesn't quite know where we are, like it's delayed or it's not showing the road the right way, and so I give Hannah those inaccurate directions,
Yeah.
and then I am blamed ruthlessly
It's very
for
irritating.
getting us in the wrong
Well, then,
area.
but I'll look at the map and it'll very clearly
Because
show.
by the time you look, it has updated.
No, you've made some mistakes. Okay. Who's most likely to get baby fever?
I
Not you.
think it's Hannah. We're in the midst of IVF, but I'm still like, if you should, really?
Who's most likely to splurge on expensive items? That's kind of a toss-up.
We're both bad at this at different times,
Yeah.
you know?
That's really, I think, I would say you.
Okay. You can just say it's both of us.
Oh, I thought we had to decide.
Well, I think it's you
No.
with your shoes.
My like 2 pairs of nice shoes that I have. How about you and like you see a new TV.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what?
You see a new drone and you're like, I need that. You know?
We thankfully balance each other out. Like,
Yeah.
we're voices of reason
Yeah.
for each other. So we'll always go to the other and be like, look, I found this amazing toaster that
Yeah.
also is a deep fryer. And then
Well, you do have a deep fryer in the basement
And
from
then-
Christmas that you haven't opened
and
yet.
then Hannah will be like, Shay, do you really need the deep fryer toaster?
Yeah, because you already
combo?
have one, remember? And then we'll find reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's most likely to apologize first? Shane.
I'm forced to.
I thought that was one of your good traits.
It is.
Now you're forced to do it.
I'm just saying.
It's one of the reasons that I married you.
If
So
we
please
want-
don't say you're forced.
If we want an argument to end in this house,
Yeah.
I need to apologize.
And that is why I chose you as my husband. I would have chosen
one of the
somebody
most
else.
important reasons.
He's willing to apologize first. There you go. Should I apologize sometimes? Absolutely.
And you
But-
do. It's true. Like, I know that, like, I need to be the one to do it first, but you always are like, and I'm sorry for blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and often I'll want a couple of times recently, I have come in ready to hear the apology from you and to give you my apology, and you'll refuse. And you'll spark a whole new fight. A couple of times that has happened. Do you remember?
I know, and I know the exact body language that you have when
Yeah, when
you're
I slink in the
waiting for
room.
my apology. And sometimes
And I
it
see
just,
something cute. I'm like, hi, Grubby.
yeah, it just feels a little too juicy and delicious to just wait a little longer.
But you,
And act like I don't know what you're waiting for.
that makes me so irritated. I'm so irritated at you. Okay. Who is most likely to prank the other? We don't do pranks.
We don't do pranks.
We have never pranked each other.
No.
Who is most likely to not give in during an argument even when they're wrong?
We're both stubborn as hell.
I was going to say, like, once we're in the argument, I think both of us.
It may be a little bit more towards you.
Yeah.
Like, I more don't want to fight ever. So, like, at some point, I don't know what noise that was, but, like, you know, that when we're in the disagreement, I'll often be like, oh, like, you know, this isn't a big deal. And that makes the fight bigger. But, like,
Yeah, because you want me to, like, you're not, okay.
I'm not saying I back down.
Exactly. You just want me to be like,
I want it to be over. So
yeah,
I feel like more often I, like, say, oh, hey, I'm wrong.
barely. I can't even think of one example of that. Who's most likely to give the silent treatment after an argument? You.
I do. Yeah, I get quiet after we argue.
So And whenever you're in a bad mood, it's your worst attribute.
Wow, I did not think that we'd be bringing up my worst attribute.
Just so you know, I mean, you know that's your worst attribute.
It started off with Shane's gonna die first, for sure. Now we're on to my worst attribute.
Yeah, but that's worse for that. Shane is gonna die first. That idea is worse for me than for you.
Yeah.
That's more offensive to me. Like I would rather die first. Once you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
No problem.
What point are you making?
It's way worse for I'm just saying, you were saying that this has been targeting you the whole time. I would argue that targets me.
Oh, I see.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's awful for
It's awful for all of
us,
us,
but we're both gonna live long lives.
But
Don't
worse
worry.
for me. Who?
People are like, you know, they used to be a fun channel. Now they're just talking about death.
I blame the questions.
Maybe don't do all of them. I feel like we're not even halfway.
No. We're almost done.
Oh,
Who's most likely to pull an all-nighter?
time flies when you're making fun of Shane.
I guess you.
An all-nighter? I always want to do all-nighters.
But you don't. You get tired. You make us stop watching our show every night.
I like the idea of an all-nighter. Often I'm like, hey, let's like play Zelda all night tonight. Let's just do it. And then by midnight, I'm like, I'm so tired.
Yeah, you're like, we have to stop. I have never done an all-nighter. The latest I stayed up as a teenager was 5 a.m. and then I went to bed.
Aw.
I never stayed up the whole day then.
You should do it once.
No, thank you.
It's an awful feeling.
Yeah, I don't want to ever do that. So I guess you would be more likely.
I've only done it when I was younger, in my prime. Now as a 31-year-old. I'm far too old for that.
There's another plug for his age. Who's most likely to talk in their sleep? That was you.
Oh, yeah, it's
I
bad.
don't talk in my sleep.
I don't really talk in my sleep. I talk in as I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty much.
It's whenever you're
asleep.
sleeping and I move, you start talking. Last night you asked me if I plugged your chair in, which you never asked me that. So I was like, yeah, I did. And then you said, did you plug your phone in? And I hadn't plugged it in yet, but I was like, yep. I was like, you've never once asked me if I plugged my phone in.
I said the weirdest thing was
You
as
were
I'm
being
falling asleep.
helpful. That was the most normal thing you've ever said.
Uh-huh.
Who is most likely to forget the other's birthday? That's never happened.
No, not really.
And me, probably.
Yeah, but it's
If
not
we
like we
had-
forget
But I've never done
nowadays.
that.
Yeah.
I'm just more forgetful.
Mine was May 28th, and I turned 31 years old.
Who's most likely to make the most money long term?
Make the most money?
Yeah. Long term? Well, we have the same job, so that's kind of hard.
Yeah, we're a team. So both. It's a boring question.
Yeah. Who's most likely to get a tattoo of the other person's name? Well, I'm not doing it.
You would never.
Yeah.
You'd have to really want a reason. Really have a reason.
You don't want my name?
No, I don't want your name.
Why?
I'm going to get it big across my chest.
Yeah, I would hate that.
I just small. My
Don't get
chest
my-
isn't very big.
Okay, don't get my name. Who's most likely to commit a crime?
Probably me. Although you like the speed.
Yeah, what's the crime? I mean, I've probably committed more crimes.
I feel like I'm often encouraging
But yeah, bad behavior.
and you're like, no, we can't do that. It's
I would
not
never break a
allowed.
law.
Yeah.
Unless it's
Like if I
like stupid
saw,
law.
this is a great example. If I saw like a shortcut through a parking lot or something,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, that will help us get where we need to go faster. But there was a big sign that was like,
Yeah.
no trespassing.
Oh, I would never.
I would be like, we can just run through there. It's fine. You would
No.
be, no, you would not.
Never. Who's most likely to be late for your wedding? I mean,
Not me. I would never be late.
probably me.
Yeah. I can't believe you'd be late to our wedding.
I wasn't.
More likely than me.
Last one. Who's most likely to lie to get out of a date? A date with
A
each
date
other?
with each other? No, let's say that with other people.
Me. Well, I mean,
Really?
we both equally get out of
I will lie out the
Yeah,
wazoo
true.
to
You
get
would
out
lie.
of something.
You would lie. I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't lie.
This segment has been a pleasure. We've exposed
A pleasure and a pain.
many of our biggest failings as human beings, some of
Well,
our biggest weaknesses.
I do have a question. I told you what your worst attribute was.
Oh, Jesus.
So, what's my worst attribute, in your opinion, for you?
You really want me to tell it
Yeah.
this?
I think it's fair.
it's not a worst attribute. Because, like, the opposite of it is something that you find really annoying about me. It's just your prioritization of fun over
Oh.
work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that horrible, everybody?
We fight about it all the time.
That would be my worst attribute, that I'm fun?
I let the work more handle likes to have more fun. It infuriates both of us.
Yeah.
But it's not like a bad.
I love that that's my worst attribute because actually I think that makes me seem better. I think that's a you problem.
You need to put your ass in gear
Yeah.
and get to work, okay?
Okay.
We have deadlines.
I'll try.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back to play Am I the Asshole? We are back after searching for tissues in our office and finding none. Hannah blew her nose into the armpit of my shirt.
No, I did not.
So,
I didn't actually.
That is your worst attribute.
Look, I didn't do that. Thank you.
It's the thing she does. Whenever she has a runny nose, she blows it into my shirt.
What the heck?
Kind of gross.
All right, it's time to play Am I the Asshole? I'm going to read the post from Reddit that Shane has found.
And this is something that someone submitted anonymously on a public forum.
Asking if they are the asshole.
Yeah, so we are going to tell you the story now.
Am I the asshole for begging my girlfriend to uphold a sexist tradition just so she can make a good first impression?
Ooh.
I have a big family that's incredibly close. We have big family dinners every few months where we all meet at my great-grandfather's estate and eat together.
Sounds fancy.
Okay. Typically, how this works is that the women go cook for the time they're there and the men don't, which I am fully aware is sexist as hell. That being said, I am one of the youngest people in my family, and my protests mean literally nothing. Some of those women choose not to cook, however, this is usually met with a level of ostracizing. The women who don't cook are wives and long-term girlfriends, so they kind of already have a good family relationship doctored in. When I have seen new partners not cook, it's gone bad, like completely ostracized, not speaking, cattiness, rudeness, etc. This dinner will be in 2 weeks, and my girlfriend was asked if she would attend. Initially, she said yes, which is great. I want for her to meet everyone and for everyone to get used to her being around. But when I explained to her the tradition, she was understandably bothered. I told her that I understood where she was coming from. However, it was best for everyone if she just played along. I told her this isn't a permanent thing and that I am only asking her to do this so that she can avoid bad treatment from the rest of the family. This is her first impression, and I don't think it's best if we cause waves. She told me that it's unacceptable and that if she has to do this, she will not be going. I've tried to find a compromise with her on this, but she won't budge and she's pissed at me. She told me that if I think it's acceptable to make her do this, I'm just as bad as everyone else. Well, my point is that she needs to make a good first impression.
So, is he the asshole?
My opinion is yes.
Ooh, would you like to explain?
I don't think that the girlfriend should go. I don't think I would never go to that event. I think she's right that he's just as bad as his family. Like, it doesn't really matter where you're, like, if you're, I don't understand
if you're
why
upholding the tradition for the tradition's sake or
for any other
for
reason.
like your personal drama's sake. I
don't understand how you could be incredibly close with a family like that. And if you are, then like that's just not for me.
Yeah, I think that's something that stuck out to me. Is like if you are close, just go and be like, hey, we're gonna hang out in the living room right now. And if they really ostracize you, that's not a close family.
Exactly. That's why I'm like confused about that. I don't understand how you can call that close and then be like, my girlfriend has to do this or she will be mocked and met with rudeness.
I understand his perspective of like, I know this is awful.
Yeah.
But like, I want my family to love you. And I know that in their awful way, you have to help cook a few times in order to get there in their good graces. And like acknowledging that that is so messed up. But like still, like if there's no other way around it in this weird family dynamic, like then.
Yeah, I just think you have to find someone who's into that. You know, like you can't just make any girlfriend do that and be like, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, but like if that's the only thing, like if it was you and me and
I wouldn't do that.
No, I know, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
But like I wouldn't move on to a new partner because you don't like the touch, you know?
No, but I'm saying she.
Yeah.
Like, it's not his right to be like, this is what you need to do to be in my family.
Right.
And then to expect her to do that. Like, if she
Yeah.
doesn't want to cook with your grandparents for 6 hours,
Yeah.
then she doesn't have to do
He
that.
should just cook with her.
I know.
Like, okay.
That I would have done.
Happy medium. Like, I know this is
Yeah.
gonna suck, but I'll be right there with you. We'll have fun.
Yeah.
You know. Like
But he's saying
he's
can't
like,
cook.
I can't be in there.
Yeah. Which is just so weird. I cannot imagine if you had told me that first time I visited you in Pennsylvania that like it's your family tradition for the women to cook and I had to be in the kitchen without you.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I'm not coming.
Okay, does it change it for you if like the tradition is that at each of these family gatherings, all the women go out in the forest and do axe throwing? Like something that has no tie to sexist values. That it's just a thing
And they have to do
that they do. But it's like you're ostracized if you don't want to. But like the activity axe throwing
But the
isn't
thing is,
something that you're really into.
no, but the thing is, I don't really care about the cooking. Like the girlfriend doesn't want to do it. So I don't really care what the activity is. If it's axe throwing and she doesn't want to do it, I have the same opinion.
So, okay, that's what
My
I was
opinion.
saying.
But
Yeah.
the women cooking is steeped in a history.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like it is different than axe throwing. I think it's much more offensive. But like regardless, if she didn't want to axe throw, then he's the asshole for being like, you have to axe throw.
Yeah. That makes sense.
You know?
But like, yeah, no, I agree with you. I want to say he's the asshole like 90%. But I get the 10% of him that's doing it for the sake of their relationship
Yeah.
and wanting them to be able to be happy together and this unfortunate family value that like
Yeah.
they have to just get to
Yeah.
move on with it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if
But-
she's going to his great grandfather's estate, I would suck it up and cook in the kitchen for an hour because like
That sounds
like
lovely.
there's a pretty
There's some money moving around there.
there's some money in that family. I wouldn't throw that away for one meal.
What if they're all really annoying to cook
It
with?
sounds like they would be awful. I mean, it honestly sounds like they're awful. So I don't. But you know, that's just my opinion.
What if they were cooking like a cake that you loved or a brownie?
The thing is, like, this is written and seems to be like kind of further than most families go. But this general idea is like this happens in a lot of families.
Oh yeah,
The women cooking for big family get-togethers is what happens in like most
yeah.
traditional, you know, conservative families and like a lot of non-conservative families.
And like if everyone's enjoying it, great. But like,
Yeah, it's just weird that it's like you have to do this and like you're
Yeah.
ostracized. But like if they had just gone and he hadn't said anything, I wonder if the women had been like, "Would you mind helping us?" If she would have just done it.
you're right. Yeah,
You know? And like it's messed up and the men should help just as much as the women should, but like that happens in a lot of families. so
yeah.
it's
That's
just-
totally natural for them to be like, "Hey, come in here and
Yeah.
cook with us," you know. And
Yeah.
but it's still sexist that they're the ones that kind of have to cook,
Exactly.
for lack of a better word.
That's why I'm just saying like this happens in a lot of like families and so it's not really
Yeah,
like
It's-
I'm like dogging on it, but it, you know.
yeah. It's a big part of our
Yeah.
society.
Yeah.
I love cooking, and like I would want to be in there.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I don't know what the boys are doing. Probably axe throwing, chopping down trees.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, no, thank you. I'm gonna go in the kitchen.
I know.
I have a nice remoulade to make.
I know. You and my mom like to cook together. Where you're just like throwing in little bits of information and helping.
With my deep fryer
Okay.
toaster
Yep.
combo.
All your equipment, your rice cooker, you guys use that.
I love the rice cooker.
Yeah.
That's not really cooking, but
So what's your opinion is that he's 90%
90% the asshole.
Yeah, I agree.
10% I understand.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think. We would love to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sure many of you are from families where, you know, maybe the women cook and the men watch TV while that happens.
Yeah.
Let us know like what that dynamic would be.
That's the thing is like that's so normal, but calling it
know.
a tradition makes it like an extra level, you know?
Well, it makes it a requirement. Yeah.
yeah.
Then it moves on from like fun family activity
Yeah, it's a
to
little
like,
creepy.
okay, you're a servant. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, would love to hear what you all think.
Yeah.
That was Your Mayhem, and I am starving again. I always
Okay.
get so hungry during these.
I know. Well, we don't eat before we do this.
Maybe we should snack
Oh,
during the podcast.
that's a great idea. Next episode, we'll just bring our breakfast in here. Yum. Don't even.
I didn't even have soft-boiled eggs.
Ew.
Something mushy that I can.
Oh my God. Stop. Stop right now.
All right, everyone. That was Junkyard Mayhem, episode 32. If they liked the podcast where we fought a lot, what should they do?
Like, review, subscribe, leave a comment, all of that stuff. And it's a junkyard out there.
Yes, ladies, you are on the trash compactor. All women, please, over to the trash compactor. Men, let's go play some darts. Bye, everyone.